Winter squash represents a whole category of anti-inflammatory vegetables that thrive in cold weather storage. Butternut, acorn, kabocha, and other varieties are rich in beta-carotene, vitamin C, and potassium, nutrients that work together to regulate inflammation and support cardiovascular health. The beta-carotene content in winter squash is substantial, often providing well over 100% of daily vitamin A needs in a single serving. That deep orange color is literally the visible sign of these carotenoids, and the intensity of the color correlates with the concentration of beneficial compounds. This is nutrition you can see. What makes winter squash particularly valuable is its storage capacity. These squash can keep for weeks or even months in cool, dry conditions. This was literally a survival food for populations living through harsh winters with no fresh produce, and that same quality makes them practical for modern people trying to reduce shopping trips and food waste. The natural sweetness of winter squash means it doesn't need much enhancement. Roasted squash develops caramelized edges and intensified flavor. It works in both savory and sweet preparations. You can put it in soups, grain bowls, pasta dishes, or even baked goods. This versatility makes it easier to incorporate regularly without getting bored. The complex carbohydrates in winter squash provide sustained energy without dramatic blood sugar spikes, similar to sweet potatoes. They're satisfying and filling, which helps with overall dietary adherence. When you feel satisfied by your food, you're less likely to reach for inflammatory processed snacks. But let's address the reality. Winter squash, while nutritious, is still a starchy carbohydrate. A cup of butternut squash contains about 16 grams of carbs, and people often eat much more than a cup in a sitting. If you're managing diabetes or insulin resistance, you can't eat unlimited quantities just because it's a vegetable. The preparation can also be challenging. Winter squash has thick, tough skin that requires real effort to cut through. This can be genuinely dangerous if you're using a dull knife or don't have good knife skills. People injure themselves cutting winter squash with surprising frequency. You can roast it whole to make it easier to cut, but that adds time. Some varieties are also quite expensive. Kabocha squash, while delicious and nutrient-dense, often costs significantly more than butternut. This can make regular consumption financially impractical for people on tight budgets. There's also the seed removal issue. The fibrous interior requires scooping out, which is time-consuming and messy. Some people save and roast the seeds for additional nutrition, but this adds another preparation step that not everyone wants to bother with. Despite these practical challenges, winter squash offers substantial nutritional benefits, long storage life, and satisfying flavor that makes it worth the effort for many people.